If you don't have a reason to be outside, we would ask that you stay inside your residence.
The manhunt continues for the 24-year-old accused of shooting at police officers in Cockeysville. Fox 45's Vincent Hill has the latest developments in a live report. Breaking developments in that deadly crash that led to a building collapse in Baltimore. An update on the victims and charges now facing the suspect. Plus, parents' frustration surrounding major underperformance at nearly 24 Baltimore City schools. Fox 45 News presses lawmakers on when change could be coming.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Bubala. We're going to begin with that breaking news. Baltimore County Police are warning people still to stay inside as a manhunt has been going on for more than 24 hours in Cockeysville. Officers are looking for 24-year-old David Linthicum, considered armed and dangerous. This was the scene this morning as police and SWAT teams combed through Baltimore County. Fox 45's Vincent Hill has been following the story all day for us. Vincent, they just moved you to a staging area away from the scene. You were near the house. Tell us why they did that.
Yeah, Mary, it's deja vu all over again as you take a look at this long line of cars of folks waiting to get home. Now, police moved us away from that home because they say something could be happening near that home, but they won't say exactly what that is. Now, earlier today, as you mentioned, SWAT teams searched the area near where that standoff happened yesterday. They also searched several vacant homes. Our cameras even caught them searching a nearby church. As the search continues at this hour, police still making this plea to the public.
If you don't have a reason to be outside, we would ask that you stay inside your residence where it's safe.
Meanwhile, this woman's daughter says she came face to face with the man that police are now looking for.
It's kind of scary because she actually ran in the house last night and told me that her and her friend saw, I guess, a kid running, but it was like out of control running.
And Vincent, police are also clarifying that they think the suspect may be wearing something different than the description they gave out last night. Why did they make that change?
Well, Mary, they just said simply based on the investigation. Originally, they believed he was in a black sweatshirt, hooded sweatshirt, and black pants. Now they say he may be in shorts and a short sleeve shirt. And that perimeter around the search has really only expanded about a mile from where the house is. For now, we're live in Cockeysville. Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News. Vincent,
thank you. The search forcing multiple Baltimore County schools to shut down for the day. No word yet on whether they will be open tomorrow. You can get the latest information on school closures at foxbaltimore.com. We'll have the very latest, of course, tonight on the news at 10. Well, the Cockeysville home where the manhunt began is the same house where the Browning family lived when they were murdered by their 15-year-old son in 2008. Right now, Nicholas Browning is serving 4 life sentences for murders that happened there. He was arrested in early February of 2008 after police say he confessed to killing his father, mother, and 2 younger brothers.
Well, there's new information after a deadly crash in Baltimore. Investigators say 33-year-old Sean Lee Brunson was driving a stolen vehicle, trying to get away from police when he crashed into another car, sending both cars into a building that collapsed. As a result of that collapse, a pedestrian, 54-year-old Alfred Fincher, was killed. Now, police say all 5 occupants of the 2 cars have been released from the hospital. Investigators say it began when officers spotted a stolen car not far from there and tried to stop it. Take a listen to dispatch audio from responding officers.
It's this vehicle right in front of me. See if you can pin it in. Pin it in. All right, it's taking off in the alley. It looks like, I don't know if it's going to be able to get out of here. Just let it go, guys. It's westbound on Sinclair. It's traveling at a high rate of speed. It looks like it's going to go southbound on Wolf and come out North Ave. Yeah, just hit a car, collapsed building. Building just fell on it, North and Wolf. Get some units, start a couple medics. Hit a civilian vehicle. The building collapsed on it, on both vehicles. Start a couple medics.
Well, Brunson now faces auto theft charges and more charges are pending. Police say the car was stolen Tuesday.
1, why is this so urgent now? 2, what factors were utilized to bring us to this point, and 3, what are the implications for the city of Baltimore and generations to come.
At this hour, the Baltimore City Council is holding an investigative hearing on the future of Baltimore's conduit system. This is in response to the mayor's plan to expand BGE's rights to the underground network of utility cables. The mayor signed the agreement with BGE 2 days ago, calling it a good deal for the city, claiming it's not for sale, and it is not a sale. BGE has to commit, though, more than $130 million in improvements, but will have blanket or expedited permitting to make most changes it wants. Some city council members don't seem convinced this is a good deal.
BGE has increased the rates that all the ratepayers have been paying significantly over the past few years, and yet they're still enjoying low-cost use of our conduit system and benefiting from the city. And so the question here is, what's in it for the taxpayers?
Representatives from BGE are also testifying at tonight's hearing. Fox 45's Jeff Abel will have their perspective and the outcome of tonight's hearing at 10. Project Baltimore reporting 23 Baltimore City schools have 0 students who tested proficient on the state math exam. 2,000 students took the test, and the struggles have families fed up with failing schools.
Our kids are not caught up, but we're passing them. We're passing them, but they can't read.
It's terrible. Horrible.
I think that political leaders are making a mistake by kind of ignoring this instead of looking at it as a 5-alarm fire.
Fox 45 News is taking those concerns to city leaders, but as our Mackenzie Frost finds, they seem to be falling on deaf ears at times.
2,000 students across Baltimore City public schools aren't able to do math at grade level. Meanwhile, Mayor Brandon Scott and other leaders inside City Hall aren't talking about the problem at all.
Coppin Academy, Reach Partnership, Forest Park. 3 high schools on the list of 23 schools across Baltimore with 0 students who can do math proficiently. It's not just high school students struggling. Park Heights Academy, Johnston Square, elementary schools with struggling students too. Johnston Square is where Nichelle Watkins' son goes to school. Watkins speaking with Fox 45's Project Baltimore.
I feel like they don't care. It's not their children. They don't care.
Her son is in 4th grade and can't read.
How is he supposed to be productive if he can't read?
This one family story highlights the concerns many have as schools continue to struggle to reach benchmarks. The latest test scores from the state indicate kids are falling behind. Fox 45 News sending questions to Mayor Brandon Scott about the 23 schools without students proficient in math, asking, do you believe a change in school leadership is necessary in Baltimore? If not, why not? How do you defend these results? The mayor and his team ignoring those questions.
I think they're ignoring it because they don't have an answer.
Political analyst John Deedy says elected leaders shouldn't brush off these problems because having a community filled with education and math problems could add up to bigger issues for Baltimore as a whole.
Companies aren't going to come to your state or your region to work. They don't want to hire stupid people. They don't want to hire people that aren't proficient in math.
But it's not just the mayor not talking about the achievement gaps.
My colleague sent an email about the 23 schools in the city who have 0 students who are proficient in math.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not talking to any Sinclair affiliate. That's the end of that.
You don't have any concerns about these failing schools?
No, I don't have any interest in talking to anybody from any Sinclair broadcast group affiliate.
Why is that?
I'm not going to talk about it.
Councilman Ryan Dorsey refusing to speak with Fox 45 News about the math scores or respond to our emails with questions.
I am aware of that report.
Councilman Mark Conway telling Fox 45 News the role of the city council is simply oversight.
Should he hold an oversight hearing with the CEO of city schools to talk about these failing kids?
Yeah, I definitely think it's worthwhile. I think it's important for us to understand what's going on.
Sentiment similar to what Councilman Eric Costello told Project Baltimore. Councilman Robert Stokes, chair of the Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee, telling Fox 45 he will call for a hearing to get answers from city schools about the thousands of kids who aren't proficient in math. but that hearing likely won't take place until April. Meanwhile, city schools operates with a $1.6 billion budget, spending $21,000 per student, cementing city schools in the top 5 of large school districts nationwide when it comes to spending per student in the classroom. That budget set to increase when $30 billion is given to schools statewide in the next decades, boosting bottom lines. But there's no guarantee the test scores of students will increase as well.
City Schools tells Fox 45 News they are taking steps to improve math scores, including professional development for teachers, extended learning time at the end of the day, and even summer learning opportunities for struggling students. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
The Baltimore Collegiate Charter School in danger of shutting down over what the school's CEO calls technicalities like missing paperwork or data entry errors. But a report from the city claims teaching practices and staffing are falling short. City Council member Carl Stokes former City Council member asking why the city is quick to pull the plug on charters when many of the city's public schools are filled with their own problems.
Overall, the city schools numbers are horrendous in terms of graduation rates. But at collegiate school, these young men are being disciplined, they're taught respect, they're nurtured. It's a great school and should not even be thought of being put down.
A final vote on the charter school's future will take place after a board meeting 2 weeks from today. The Providence Volunteer Fire Department in Towson sharing these pictures of a hiker rescue along Merriman's Mills Trail near Loch Raven this afternoon. The rescue team worked in partnership with Baltimore County fire officials. The hiker appears to have suffered a lower leg injury. And you may not have felt it, but there was a small earthquake off the Delmarva Peninsula just after 8 o'clock last night. The U.S. Geological Survey says a 2.6 magnitude earthquake hit about 5 miles off the coast of Assateague Island, just south of the Maryland-Virginia border. No injuries or damages have been reported, but at least 17 people reported feeling it on the USGS reporting page.
We're learning more about what the suspected Chinese spy balloon was capable of. I'm Atrel Najar on Capitol Hill with that and why senators say they're frustrated with the military's response.
And high temperatures today just coming within 1 degree of a record high, made it to 68, the record from 2001, 69 degrees, a full over 20 degrees above average today. We're going to take those temperatures down again. I'm going to let you know if it comes with any rain or snow over the weekend. My Weather Authority forecast.
New tonight, remnants of a suspected Chinese spy balloon have arrived at the FBI facility in Quantico, Virginia, after the balloon was shot down off the coast of South Carolina over the weekend. Agents are hoping to learn more about how the balloon operated and what intel it may have captured. Today, the House of Representatives passed a resolution condemning China for flying the balloon over the U.S., but also placing some blame here at home. As Atra El-Nashar explains, many lawmakers weren't happy with the way the situation was handled.
All right. A brazen violation of United States sovereignty. Whoa. Is Congress's bipartisan consensus of China's suspected use of a spy balloon last week. What the State Department says is just one example of China's broad surveillance fleet that's been flown over 40 countries.
This is going to happen again.
Tense exchanges between senators and military officials Thursday, shortly after news broke that the balloon had the ability to collect communication signals. Waiting to shoot it down over water, the military says, allowed them to gather intelligence, explaining why, even over Alaska, it couldn't be done safely.
Ultimately, it came back to maybe a 20-mile by 20-mile piece of ground. And without being able to clear that, we wouldn't do that in combat, sir. We think before we shoot.
At least before heading into a classified briefing, senators didn't appear convinced.
I get it, but what makes that compelling or not is what information they were able to collect.
Senator John Tester of Montana among those whose home states were flown over by the balloon, and Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska especially frustrated. Has this fractured your confidence in the military's ability to A, assess and B, respond to this type of thing?
I've got obviously a lot more questions that I'm going to hopefully have an opportunity to ask in the closed secure brief and beyond. I've already been briefed once. Right now, I'm not at all satisfied with the actions that were taken.
Republicans placing blame on the president, even though he acted on advice from the Pentagon.
I'm sure they advised him of any number of things. Let's find out what all that advice was.
As for what this means for already strained U.S.-China relations,
have relations now between the U.S. and China taken a big hit, frankly?
No.
Many lawmakers skeptical of that, too. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atra El-Nashar reporting.
Fox Triplecast this evening, tranquil, although a couple extra clouds on the Mile 1 Taos Cam and the Toyota East Inner Harbor Sky Cam after just falling 1 degree short of a record high, 68 this afternoon. And the latest weather maker, you can see a couple of sprinkles there on the HD radar. That's all it's providing us right now. And really, again, it's more so just clouds, but that did not hamper our temperatures today. Right now, we're near 60 on the Toyota East Inner Harbor Sky Cam. Winds out of the southeast at 8 miles an hour. That's a mild direction. Our humidity at 64%. And the only spots not really benefiting from that southerly wind are right near the bay, especially downwind of the bay, because the bay temperatures are in the 40s and even some upper 30s. So that's cooling the temperature at Annapolis. Even now here in Baltimore, that breath of the cooler air, if you will, is spread a little bit. 57 degrees at Cockeysville and 58 at Bel Air. Inland areas, so look at your 68 right now at Frederick and still in the 60s on the eastern shore. HD radar showing us rain and snow well to our north. We've got some rain and snow showers up around Chicago and then down in a place you wouldn't normally expect them so much, down around Lubbock, Texas and Oklahoma City. And it's this cold pool of air that's providing for those rain and snow showers that's going to travel somewhere towards the East Coast, and wherever that ends up is where we could have a potential of some much colder weather this weekend, accompanied potentially by some snow. For now, though, mild. You see this warm front to our north, cold front to the west. This is what we call the warm sector of our system. That's why temperatures have really gone off to the races today, and they'll stay mild tomorrow. There's the rain, even some snow up around the Great Lakes and upper Midwest, and then we've also got that mixture that's down way south. Look at Albuquerque, New Mexico, Denver, 20s, 30s. And that's kind of this bulge of cold air that's wrapping around the back side of this system. We're in the warmth for the remainder of today into tomorrow. And then Saturday, that moves east. Where's the deepest cold, though? Notice it's still hanging south. Places like Atlanta, Georgia, potentially could have some snow this weekend. Meanwhile, we It didn't look like it before, but now may miss it. So you take a look here into the overnight hours. Temperatures fall gradually through the mid to upper 50s through 3:45 a.m. Cold front passes east by late night, and that'll probably bring us down into the 40s most spots early tomorrow morning. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we probably make it again with just a couple of patchy clouds, probably a partly to mostly sunny sky. Temperatures back close to 60 degrees. Now, as I was mentioning and hearkening to the long-range computer model forecast, and even now some of the nearer-range computer models that are picking up on that redeveloping system that's going to happen here off the East Coast, right around the Carolinas, well, they're saying, yes, the European computer model and the GFS American computer model, there will be some snow likely with this, and there will be some cold enough to make the snow with some heavier precipitation. But where's that going to happen? Well, now it's kind of centering more so south. Southern, western Virginia, southbound, all the way maybe down the spine of the Appalachians. There could be some double-digit amounts out of this of wet snow and sleet. Again, both computer models kind of honing more so on that, although we may be in the edge shield of some rain coming up Sunday night into Monday. I'm going to let you know what's to come out of that system and beyond into next week if the mild temperatures come back in the exclusive 10-day forecast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Heavy, wet snow fell across eastern Iowa today. Cedar Rapids roads were snow-covered during the morning commute. Dubuque roads were particularly treacherous. What happens when it's very windy during the freezing process? You get a cute pic. Look at these icicles in Nebraska that formed at an angle. And the sky in Jonesboro, Tennessee looked like it was on fire this morning. Just an incredible-looking sunrise.
Youth crime is on the minds of city leaders in Baltimore and really across the nation. Texas police are raising concern about a wave of stolen guns ending up in cartel hands. Jordan Elder from our Sinclair sister station in San Antonio explains.
It's a startling video. A young suspect with an AK-47 rifle going from car to car to see if any doors are unlocked. You can see other teens in driveways around the cul-de-sac doing the same.
It used to be that, you'd come out and your car was burglarized and you say, well, it's just crazy kids having fun being kids. It's not anything that simple anymore.
Arrests were made in that case, but Sheriff Javier Salazar says this is becoming more common, especially when unlocked cars have weapons inside.
My greatest fear is that a homeowner is going to come out to walk the dog, to take the dog out, for a restroom break at 4 in the morning and interrupt a car burglary or get themselves shot in the process.
Salazar says many of these stolen guns end up in the hands of cartels.
If they break into enough cars, a high percentage of them are going to have firearms in them. It's a pretty well-known fact.
And the stolen vehicles are often used for human smuggling.
That's a huge concern for me, and it should be for the rest of the community as well.
It happened to Cody Fulmar as he traveled through San Antonio. He was inside a store for just 10 minutes, and when he came back out,
the keys were in my hand and the truck was gone.
Days later, Texas DPS officers notified him the truck had been found.
It was recovered in Eagle Pass. It was suspected to be in operation during smuggling.
The inside's dirty, torn up, and the GPS device ripped out.
They got me in broad daylight.
Salazar says you should park in a driveway if you can and make it a habit to take all your valuables out of your car. You should also lock your doors in case groups like this pass through. He says it's not a matter of making your car theft-proof.
It's just making it harder to get into.
Exclusive 10-day forecast going to take temperatures to 61. Another breezy and mild day tomorrow. Cooler on Saturday, 50, 46. Rain, maybe some non-sticking, I'd say, wet snow or sleet possibly mixed in north and west. It goes into Sunday night. It's above freezing there, 58. Early shower on Monday. Sunshine, gorgeous Valentine's Day, and then some spot showers Wednesday, Thursday before a little bit of a cool down, but not below average as we head towards the end of next week and next weekend.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, finally tonight, always keep your head on a swivel. You never know who could be watching. Check out this picture from our friends at the Maryland Zoo. Jake, the red-footed tortoise, is out exploring one of the indoor habitats. But look closely at the top of your screen. Fern the lemur is trying to get a look at one of Jake's rare indoor visits. I see him. Well, that's all for Fox 45 News at 6. Family Feud's up next. We'll see you back here for the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.